Remember back in the good old days when we used to start a new job and we would get training and support and a clear path to success? Well, that's no longer the case. If you're Gen X, I'm warning you right now, you're walking into broken systems, sky-high expectations, and no real safety net. In this video, I'm going to break down why you need to have your own plan right now and what you can do to survive and win. All right, so let's sort of break down, why it feels totally and completely different starting a new job today in 2025, and that there's a whole new set of rules. As many of you know, I just recently started a new job after 7 months of unemployment, and I'm delighted to be there, and I've gotten like a paycheck and a half, which is just great. But I'm quickly reading the room, and the room is, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or when I started my career, when Gen X started our careers, it really was about hard work and loyalty. And you know what? There was sort of a trust factor where employees didn't just, at the drop of a hat, lay tons and tons of people off, but they invested in their people. So let me frame it up a little bit more for you. My line of work, I sell, I'm in business development. They've hired a ton of new salespeople, and our typical deal size is like 7 figures or 8 figures, really. And so there's really, really high expectations. But just so you know, we've been given maybe 2 sets of tools to use in getting our jobs done. We've got a trade show in another 30 days. So within 60 days, I'm expected to have 5 high-level meetings with a completely new, white space, greenfield territory, people, actually new logo. And anybody who's in enterprise sales knows how difficult that is to do. It should be a lot of fun going forward. But you know what? That's the go-to-market strategy these days for corporate America. And I'm kind of concerned about it in that, in 6 months, if there's no real progress and results for something, it could get very dicey, which is why you need your own plan. But that's okay. We've got a plan. We're going forward, and we're going to talk about that next. All right. So how do we move forward? Well, the first thing is, and I want everybody to do this, I'm doing it, is realize that you are a business of one. But the good news is our survival plan, we're going to build our skills, we're going to identify side hustles, and we're going to make smart moves. And there's a lot of good news in that. So let's get to the first one. So embrace soft skills. So I told you my company decided instead of, the good news is instead of hiring AI and investing in software, they've decided to hire a bunch of people. And the reason why is because other companies don't want to contract with companies for 7 and 8 figure deals. They want to sit down, they want to meet the people, they want to have a discussion, they want to customize their needs, and they want everybody to understand that we understand their clear goals and business outcomes that they're looking for. And you can't do that with AI. But you can do that by developing your soft skills. I'll link to the video that I did earlier, and I think you should check it out, I hope. But high-level buyers want this. And so we need to have conversation skills, persuasion, and critical thinking. But the good news is Gen X has the edge. So yes, that's right. Gen X does have the edge over Gen Z. And so it's really happening. So do you remember back in the good old days when we had our first jobs and we used to go into the office, we were in front of people, but we used to dial for dollars? It's quite funny, but Gen Z right now, actually, they're teaching college courses to teach Gen Z how to speak on the phone. So they actually have a word for it, and it's called phonophobia. And I'll link to a video here of WGN News here in Chicago talking about it. So let's go there. And then, it's really funny. The lady, she's actually making up to $480 an hour teaching Gen Z how to speak on the phone. So Gen X has got the edge, and we're going to be in good shape from that standpoint. Okay, so building soft skills are definitely one of the ways forward, but the other way forward, or an additional way forward, is to diversify your income. So let me give you an example. As many of you know, I just lost a family member, and this person was very sick for quite a long time, and I think a lot of us Gen Xers are going to be seeing this. But my sister works in healthcare, and she's very, very good, and she knows how to navigate both insurance, hospitals, you might need a social worker, what to expect. And then when that loved one comes home, how do you have in-home care or prepare for somebody who is very seriously ill? And what are the things that you need? Do you need medical equipment? What kind of table? Do you need a commode? All of these things. My sister knows how to do this, and she offered her knowledge about getting prepared for someone to come home to my aunt. But that's a business. And I think that there's a lot of people who would gladly pay, who are in crisis mode and have never been through anything like this before, would gladly pay somebody for counsel. And that's probably real money. I'm not talking about doing DoorDash or Uber or anything like that. I'm talking about getting paid on what you know and bringing real value to somebody. So, ask yourself, what do I know? How could I help somebody? What is valuable to people in my community that I could market and I could, develop a side hustle? Maybe it's babysitting. Maybe it's pet sitting. Maybe, like in my case, maybe you're very good at wine. Well, I am good at wine, but I'm not a sommelier. But maybe you're very good at wine, and you can host wine tasting events. I live in a high rise. I live in an urban area. That's something that, you could do as a business and do it on the weekends, maybe Thursday nights, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday nights, and, make some real income that way. So diversify, think about it, be creative, but I know there's something that you can get paid on, because we know a lot and we've been through a lot. And anyway, so that is just part of the plan going forward. And then the other thing is, and again, here I am on YouTube. YouTube is definitely part of my plan, but there's a lot of other ways for content creators to be paid. And there's a lot of new social media and options that are popping up. One that I just found out about is called WAP. And I don't really have a huge understanding of it, but I'm looking into it. But that's just another way. Gen Z is killing it from that standpoint. I think it's kind of adjacent to TikTok. But that doesn't mean we can't get in there and figure out a lane for ourselves. I think we can. So that's just another area to think about. One of the things that I'm preparing for, and everybody should be preparing for with regard to this, and as we move forward, is, so think about your soft skills. Think about a side hustle. Content creation as an option. But the other thing that you need to do now, and I'm also doing, is take a look at assessment of your technology. What kind of equipment might you need going forward to build that side hustle? Something that's going to help you segue from, God forbid, if you do have these jobs are kind of on a short leash or what. But that is something I'm thinking about. I haven't upgraded my technology in a while. I'm okay. It's at least late enough addition to be operable for me, but I'm probably going to have to think about that. So it's just another area and kind of hat tip for you to think about, because you'll probably have to learn to budget for it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your feedback and share with me some other things that I may have not addressed. Thank you.